Ja, moin, guten Tag und herzlich willkommen. Welcome to the Compendium of Discomfort. My name is Michael, as usual. The greeting was in German, if you don't understand that. Yeah. Today we're going to talk about Mirrorliar Films Volume 2 or Season 2, whatever you want to call it. And, spoiler, it's very good. And I felt like it has a quite consistent theme throughout. Not exactly the kind of theme that I enjoy the most recently, but it works. It's, let's say, effective. Let's get straight into it. You can watch this as well as Volume 1 on Saka. Yeah. Wonderful streaming service that gives you some very, very nice Japanese movies. And this is available for a very short time, only 3 weeks, I think, June 19th, 2026. It's over. And there are more seasons, so if we're lucky, there might be more someday. Anyway, it's very good. And let's start with the first movie, which is not very good. It's actually the worst movie in this collection, at least for me. You might be of a completely different opinion here. It's a movie called Point by Shinosuke Abe, who is usually an actor. You might have seen him in 13 Assassins or Rurouni Kenshin or Kingdom or Cross Zero 2 or whatever. He made a lot of movies, and this one is basically a young foreign man traveling in Japan, hitchhiking, and at some point a nice older man is willing to take him to the place where he wants to go, and in between they make a little stop at the restaurant to eat. And there's a little emotional escalation, and the whole point of this movie comes across. And this is quite of the theme for the whole thing. It's somewhat, almost every movie is somehow about loss, especially in the family, especially, loved ones, or maybe not that loved ones, but people in your family. And here it's a kind of his grandfather who took care of him. And he's traveling Japan to fulfill his grandfather's last wish, basically. And this man who brings him there has his own grieving. And it's basically not bad. The whole idea is not bad. The theme is actually quite nice. I just don't like the execution, especially like the dialogue. The foreigner here speaks English. His name is Joshua here, and he speaks English all the time, and I don't feel like his lines feel natural at all. It all feels a little over the top, a little bit too weird, a little bit too much Japanese people imagine foreigners. Like at one point he yells at the owner or the chef of a restaurant because he's not paying enough attention to his son, and all these things, and it feels a little too much over the top, a little bit too on the nose, and the color grading is not especially for my liking. If you know this channel, you might know what I'm up here. Anyway, so yeah, it's not actually bad. I just didn't enjoy this character. I didn't like how he how this role is written, and the dialogue. I mean, he's like a vegan, and at some point he says something, oh, maybe I should have eaten the bacon. just sounds terrible, his whole like dialogue and acting, and I wasn't really convinced by that, and it didn't really get me emotionally, and yeah, just wasn't for me. Like everything else was kind of fine. Like the movie looks, besides the colors, are totally okay. The actors are, besides him, good enough, all fine. Just this like main character didn't work at all for me. So yeah, a little bit a low point at the start, but luckily that was the only real low point. Besides that, it just goes up, and maybe a little bit. So great, very good, and maybe one or two are good, but yeah, basically from now on it's all wonderful. And the first wonderful movie is The Little Star by Kazuaki Kiriya. I have only watched 2 of his movies. One is From the End of the World, which I liked very much, and the other one, Kyashan, seems to be the pronunciation. It's a manga adaptation. It's completely over the top, very early 2000s CG special effects spectacle. And I have seen it a long time ago when it came out on DVD in Germany, ages ago. So I don't remember anything about this besides it being a like big special effects spectacle. And I think his newest movie, maybe even, is, and it can't be the newest, From the Ends of the World is the newest one. But before that, in 2015, he made Last Nights with Clive Owen and Morgan Freeman. You might have heard of that. And yeah, this one here, The Little Star, features Takayuki Yamada, who you might know from Isle of Dogs, 13 Assassins, Crow Zero, Lesson of Evil, some other, a lot of Takashi Miike stuff. And he's wonderful. I like him very much. He was in Sakura in the first collection, Volume 1. He was in Sakura, another very good, very stylish movie. And then this one here had Marika Matsumoto, who you might have seen in Noroi, or what else here? Kirie, or some other good stuff. I like her very much. She's always very fun. And then we have Arina Takeda, who became most famous, of course, for her High Kick Girl, but she was in the very much not loved Attack on Titan movies as well. But she's cool. And we have Tsutomu Takahashi, another like regular in, for example, Takashi Miike movies or A Kingdom. He was in Confessions and The Third Murder. You may have seen him. Anyway, this movie starts on a train where outside the whole world is red, and yeah, we only have 3 colors. We have black, white, or monochrome, and red. So very much like maybe Sin City back in the days. And there we have this guy in a panda costume fighting some masked people on the train, and we don't really know what's going on. And then slowly we get visually more normal, still very stylish and over-the-top stylish, a story about a couple who lose their child, and the wife blames her husband, who is the same guy like we saw on the train. And yes, slowly but surely these 2 stories get to one point and we get a conclusion. And yeah, again here, loss of family members. And yeah, but here super stylish, super nice to look at, a lot of action. Yeah, a lot of very, very beautiful filmmaking, and I would like to see something like that in full feature length. So maybe I should watch more of the director's movies. Yeah, a very surprising thing here. Like, in the first set we had the Sakura or something like that. It was similarly stylish, but especially here was quite harsh, violent action scenes in between. Yeah, very good. I like some good action. And yeah, it gets us a little bit out of this very depressing misery that a lot of the movies throw us in. But the third movie definitely spreads a lot of happiness and has nothing to do with losing people. That's the Denture Adventure by Azumi Hasegawa. And it's a movie mostly in English. It's set, I think, in America, probably New York or something, some big city. And there's an elderly Chinese lady who walks around with a metal detector at the beach and looks at the young people full of jealousy and yeah, but then she finds a golden tooth because it's the Denture Adventure, and that's the only logical thing that you would do with a golden tooth. You put it in and use it, right? It's what you do if you find a fake tooth on the street. You wear it in your mouth, right? Yeah, I guess. Anyway, so she falls asleep with the tooth in and wakes up and is suddenly young and beautiful and cool again. And suddenly the neighbor who wants to bring the lady TV is like, oh, who's this beautiful young girl? Let's go to a party. And then they have a little Cinderella-esque adventure. Yeah, very cute, very fun, nice little comedy, feel-good movie. It's nice. It's nothing amazing, nothing great, but very cute. And then we have At the Lakeside by Kana Yamada, who hasn't done all that much, but she made one movie that's called Life Untitled, and I have the Blu-ray somewhere over there. But I still haven't watched it. It looks very promising with Sairi Ito. And yeah, someday I've got to watch it. Here in the lead role, we have Reiko Kataoka, who I'm always happy to see. You might have seen her in a Liver Leaf or maybe Kamikaze Taxi. And then we have Yoshihiko Hosoda, who was, for example, in Detroit Metal City or Labyrinth of Cinema or Low Life Love. So good stuff. And here we have these two people driving in a car somewhere on a trip, and in the back there's a stuffed monkey, and I felt like, oh my god, it's one of those movies where a mother tries to compensate the loss of her child with a stuffed animal. It's not that, and that made me very happy. Now, they're basically on a trip. He's going to get married and have a child. And pretty soon it's clear that her husband, so she is his mother. And yeah, that the father already passed away, and there might be some other issue as well. I don't want to spoil too much here. But it's a very depressing, beautiful movie set at the lakeside, and yeah, just the kind of movie that I would usually not watch right now because yeah, thematically yeah, but it's very touching, it's very beautiful, it's pretty amazing. So good. As the next one is even more depressing in a way. It's a movie by Jun Shison, who is usually an actor who was, for example, in Survival Family or in some High and Low movies. And the main actress here is Yuka Itaya, who was, for example, recently in Rental Family or in Kitano's Outrage or Survive Style 5+. And basically, this is a movie about a woman who works at some like hotline where you can call if you have very, very dark ideas and you need help. And some people called, and the first one, there's, I think, a lady who talks to her. This conversation is a bit weird. I'm not sure if this woman actually understands what the other person wants or even cares. It's a little bit weird, but it makes sense when the next caller is who just cut and tries to talk to someone. And there's a big conversation. Most of the movies is one talk about people not understanding other people with such kinds of thoughts or feelings, not willing to understand, not trying to understand. And on the other side, maybe those people who don't try to explain or can't explain. And is it, if the big question in this movie, is it if it's worth to live for any kind of happiness, wouldn't it be worth to die for any kind of sadness? And it ends a little bit in a happier place than it sounds, but it's quite intense, quite terrifying and depressing. But it's very, very good. A very simple film, like I said. It's mostly just two people talking on the phone. So one you don't even see. You just see her talking to him and reacting to what he does. And it's just really, really, really horrible. And respect to all people who do such kind of job. I mean, wow. Yeah. Quite unique, I would say. Good that we have this kind of movie. From there we go to a very, very, very different, simple place, the place of comedy. And we're still in the realm of losing family members, but here more the wish to lose a family member, because we see a wife who is planning to stab her husband while he's asleep, and she can't really do it. And suddenly her mother comes and is like, "You're not done yet? Outside is the zombie apocalypse and you can't get this done." And then they try to get rid of the husband and try to escape. And at the same time, she is pregnant. The whole thing is called King and Queen, which makes sense at the end. And it's basically a Komaya family thing that they did. It's a cute little comedy. Maybe the first zombie movie I've ever seen that doesn't have any zombie makeup, because you don't see any zombie faces. But it's cute, it's nice, it's very funny, and definitely needed at this point of the compilation after these two very depressing movies before. The next one is quite cute as well. It's by a director who's called Yuma Shibata. And the movie is called The Moderate 2. And the two main actors, or the only actors, are very interesting. It's Munenori Nagano and Riku Fujitani, who seem to be members of this, what is it called? Europa or Europe. It's a Europe Kikaku. It's a theater group. And they're basically in all these movies that are somehow connected to this group. Which is, for example, Beyond the Infinite 2 Minutes, River, and Summertime Machine Blues. All excellent movies. There's a new one coming, You Are the Film. It's gonna get released soon. I'm very much looking forward to that. And this movie is not as fantastic as the others, but still very interesting casting choice. And it's about a couple who just moved in together and now have to somehow get used to each other. And the thing is, the guy here is a very hot guy, not in a sexual sense, but in a temperature sense. So he, even in winter, he needs to like use the air conditioner at a pretty low temperature. And she drives her crazy quite quickly. And then it's a little comedy. It's like 5 minutes long, and it's a little cute comedy about these people who suddenly have to live with their little quirks, or bit bigger quirks. And it's really nice. It's very cute and very fun. And because this was enough fun, the last two movies are again quite depressing and very much about loss of people. One is Kannagi by Ko Shibasaki, who you might know as an actress, for example, in Battle Royale or One Must Call or Go or some other wonderful stuff. And then here we have Harumi Shuhama, who was, for example, in One Cut of the Dead or Love and Pop or Mondays, all very nice movies. And we have Shigenori Yamazaki, who hasn't done all that much famous stuff, but was, for example, in Kamen Rider Geats. Good. I like Kamen Rider Geats. Anyway, so in this movie, we have a mother and a daughter seemingly living a happy life until this ghost-like figure comes and tells them that, hey, this is all not real and maybe you shouldn't blame yourself for the death of... And we're not really sure who she's talking to, and basically it's a movie about the loss of the father and the following poverty of the family, which is all quite horrifying and terrible. And yes, it's a well done movie. It looks very good, and there's nothing really to complain here. It's interesting how this whole thing turns out. What's like reality, what's not reality, who is seeing what. It's quite interesting. The only thing I can complain about is the conclusion, because it's another movie that basically ends on a question, but in this case very much with the like lecturing index finger risen, like society is so bad. And if it wasn't for this last little bit on the nose moment, it would be much better, I would say. But still pretty good. But a little bit too on the nose. But the last movie here is this wonderful, beautiful. I have seen that before. I actually saw that in cinema when I watched the director, that's Yukiko Mishima. So she made another movie before about the COVID pandemic, and this is very much related to the pandemic. So I saw that as a kind of double feature. And the main actor here is, Yukiko Mishima is, of course, the director of such lovely movies as Bread of Happiness or Red, or I think it had a different title when I saw it on the Nippon Connect. I forgot. Shape of Red or something like that. And recently Voice, another very, very good movie. And as the main actor here, we have Koichi Sato, who has done so many movies. You have definitely seen him. The most famous here is Mishima, about the writer. Not related to the director here, even though it's Yukio Mishima. So very similar name. I think there's something going on. Anyway, then he was, for example, in Typhoon Club or Love Hotel or Gonin. Very famous big actor. And here he plays the guy from the title. The title is Jiro Kawakami of the Imperial, and he's a chef who had his own restaurant, but that already closed in 2021. Now it's in 2020. Now it's 2021, and he serves his last customer some food, has a little conversation with her, and then he finishes his signature dish, a hamburger steak, and carries it around the city with some first slightly uncertain goal. And he while walking down the street, he basically tells us a story of his life. Quite early in the movie, we realize that his son and his wife are not there anymore. Now he lost his restaurant, and you can imagine what his plan might be. And it ends on a slightly more ambivalent note. It's unclear what happens to him. We just see his restaurant being broken down, and you can think for yourself what happened to him. But it's a very beautiful movie, shot in Osaka. I should maybe check the place where he walks down the street. I'm pretty sure I can find that. But it's just this very depressing, very pandemic times. Everything ends feeling. It's just a beautiful, very depressing movie, and the end of this compilation. And again, it's a very, very good compilation. It's just there's not that much that actually gives you happiness. Like I said, there's a lot of loss and sadness in here. Might be the time. I don't know. I haven't seen the other seasons, but 2022 might not have been the happiest time to make movies. I mean, some of these were made a little bit earlier, but most of them are 2022 movies. Maybe that was still in on everybody's mind, and everyone's like, this world. And probably a lot of people lost family members during that time, or other drama. So I kind of understand why it turned out the way it turned out. But it's a very, very good compilation of short films, but like I said, not the happiest one. Anyway, give it a try. It's really good. If you like Japanese cinema, if you like short movies, if you like movies in general, give it a try, and maybe you find some very interesting new directors to check out. So anyway, that's it for me today. Thank you very much. Have a nice day, watch some movies, and enjoy life. See you. Bye.